I decided to do my evaluation on a course that is offered through the Florida League of Christian Schools called the Overview of Child Care Management. In 1999, the Florida legislature began a requirement for preschool directors to earn and maintain the Florida Director Credential, which is issued through the Florida Department of Children and Families. It is a comprehensive and renewable credential consisting of educational and experiential requirements. Teachers, prospective or aspiring directors would have to have a CDA or a Florida staff credential and then take an additional 45 hours in preschool management. So in 2001, the Florida League of Christian Schools launched its 45-hour academic program utilizing 4 specific modules: the role of the director, managing academic programs, managing staff, and managing finances. And you can see that this is reflective of that contemporary view that leadership was primarily management in nature. However, 12 years later, the Florida legislature adopted a 6-module framework that gave a tighter focus and reflected more leadership ideas: organizational, administration, and programming, fiscal and legal, personnel, health, safety, nutrition, and exercise, family, and community relations and leadership. And this is more reflective of academic leadership generally rather than managerial. So in 2013, 2 years later, we began redeveloping our program, and in 2014, we launched an online asynchronous program for students to take at any time, and it's 45 hours. They can complete it at any time. However, they did have to complete the program within 180 days of initial enrollment. Class activities are reflective of actual activities they would do as an administrator, creating actual budgets, laying out actual playgrounds, those types of activities and functions. And then 2017, the League of Christian Schools partnered with Southeastern University to offer this program for 3 credit hours with the hopes that students would continue their formal post-secondary education. Our program goals for this is to provide a high-quality online course for students to learn the role of a Christian preschool administrator and to maintain a 45-hour program that aligns to Florida core competencies, and then also to develop a professional path to the director credential. And this program is licensed by the state of Florida and is recognized by the state. The program objectives is to understand a deeper role of the preschool administrator and what that looks like. But ultimately, all of these would lead to the actual obtaining of the credential. Our primary evaluation questions came down to: is the program developing knowledgeable and effective early learning leaders? And are the participants able to actually obtain the credential? Those are the 2 driving pieces of information that we're looking for. So we developed an anonymous survey to be launched, sent out to 198 students, and those are the students that have enrolled in the program within the past 36 months, beginning January 1st of 2017. It was conducted completely online through our server, and that was primarily for branding, that students would recognize the brand and more readily participate. And it was done through invitation, utilizing our transactional server. And that was really just accomplished so that we would know the number of opens of emails, and then, of course, also being able to track bounces and some other technical details. The analysis method was that we now analyze the information just in Microsoft Excel, taking the survey responses and quantifying them. No personal data was captured in any way. And then responses from the open-ended questions were coded and analyzed as well. Question number 1 was: compared to when you started the course after completing the online director's course, your understanding of the role of the preschool director was much less, about the same, greater, or much greater. And you can see that we had a vast majority of our participants said that it was much greater or greater. Then question number 2, compared to when you started the course after completing the online director course, your understanding of the types of preschools was much less, less, about the same, greater, or much greater. And again, the vast majority of our students had a greater understanding of the types of preschools. To quantify this and to focus on the outcome, our outcome was students increase the knowledge of child care management and students understand the role of the preschool director. 87.5 had a greater or much greater percentage, 87.5% of our students had a greater or much greater understanding of the role of the director, and 68.8% of our participants had a greater or much greater understanding of the various types of preschools that operate. Question number 3, as a director, I use the knowledge I gained in curriculum and program development, never, rarely, monthly, weekly, or daily. And question number 4, as a director, I use the knowledge I gained in financial planning and budgeting, never, rarely, monthly, weekly, or daily. The results from this, our outcome is that students gain skills in effective child management, including instructional, staffing, and finance. 81.3% of our participants utilize their skill set in curriculum and program development daily, weekly, or monthly, or at least on a regular basis. 68.8% of our participants utilize what they learned in financial planning and budgeting on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. And I do want to point out 2 of those respondents are still preschool teachers and very well maybe still in the class and don't have an opportunity to participate in those skills. Question 5 was, which answers best describe your experience using the online platform? I really can't compare. I took a while, but I figured it out, or it was very easy to understand. Of course, the vast majority perceived it as being easy to understand. In reference to the Florida Director Credential, what is your current status? I no longer want it. I no longer need it. I'll apply in the future. I already have applied but have not received it, and I already have received it. And again, the vast majority of our participants have received it. In terms of technology, of course, one of our outcomes is that students will have a positive experience with digital technology and learning. 75% of our participants said that the site was easy to use. And then on the free responses, 80% of our participants actually cited that there was no challenge or had no response to any challenge within the course. Question number 7, in terms of your current role, please indicate which one best describes you. Not currently in a preschool industry and do not plan to return. Not currently in the preschool industry and plan to return. I'm currently a preschool teacher. I'm current assistant director, or I'm currently a director. 6 of our respondents have secured a director position. Of course, 3 have secured an assistant director position. In terms of your plans for further educational opportunities, which best describes you? I am content where I am. I plan to attend college or university, and I have already enrolled in a college and university. And very pleased to report that 7 of those students of the 16 reported that they intend to or have already enrolled in college. 56.3% of those have or intend to enroll in college. 43.8% indicate that they are content where they are. I do want to point out that all directors in the state of Florida are required to maintain 15 to 24 hours of professional development, depending on what kind of a program they're in. So this does not mean that they don't intend to learn, just not in a formal college setting. And then our free responses, we had no challenge or no response whatsoever, the vast majority of those. And then response number 2, what was the most significant benefit of this course? There was either no response or knowledge gained was the number 1 response, becoming a director, and then the instructional staff. So in our conclusions and recommendations, 81.3% of our participants have earned their director's credential. 6.3% say that they will apply for it in the future. So that's 93%, 94% of our participants have or will apply for the director credential. 56.3% of our participants have been hired as a director already. 43.8% of our participants have enrolled in college or a university.